Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffery Combs, good to be here with you on 2 for Tuesday on a beautiful, actually it's rather cool today. It's a beautiful, cool California Tuesday, year of our Lord 2025, May 13th. A very, very applicable topic for today's. Oh, so good to see you, Yuritsa. I'm looking forward to the Waxman team being here today on Facebook Live. I know that you and Josh have taken your team to some amazing trainings in the last few weeks. Josh, always good to see you here on Facebook Live. For those of you who do not know, Josh or Yuritsa Waxman, and I said Josh and Yuritsa, husband and wife, team builders, top tier trainers, people I highly, highly endorse. If you're looking for financial services and products, I highly endorse you contact anyone on Josh's team, Josh, Aaron, Yuritsa, any of my coaching clients, reach out to them. They specialize in infinite banking, and I highly, highly endorse them. Nicole, good to see you this afternoon. Good to see all of you here on 2 for Tuesday. I have a very, very exceptional topic for you that is very near and dear to me. Yuritsa, you are amazing. You are just crushing it. So good. Thank you for all of your support. Jared, longtime client, good to see you here. Aaron, thank you for being my coaching client. And what couple areas I want to cover is, first I want to cover loyalty, and I want to cover honesty. So you have to, in today's world, it's important that you be honest, and you really be honest with yourself about where you are, and you want to check your loyalty. You know, who am I loyal to? What am I loyal to? I mean, I'm loyal to God. I'm loyal to myself. I'm loyal to my loyal clients. I'm loyal to the people that I do business with. And I am loyal to the people that I can continue to have that heart connection, that emotional connection, the people that I can actually be a brand partner with, the people I can share business with, and the people I know have my back. And in today's world, it's important that you understand who's on your team and who's not on your team. Because if your mouth moves and you're telling someone how loyal you are, and then behind their back you're talking smack and shit, well, that's not loyalty. That is called anxiety, fear, and doubt, and that is called dishonesty. And so you want to be in higher integrity. Your objective is to be honest. And honesty in recovery is where you move beyond denial. And once you're beyond denial, now you're in truth. And when you're in truth, you're in higher consciousness. And in this state of higher consciousness, you can move into a non-attached state. So if you have read the book Letting Go, go back and reread the book Letting Go, especially the chapter on pride. It's page 138 through 142. I have that content memorized. I can practically recite it word for word. And it's in that content that you can begin to understand where you stand in this universe, in this world today. Because if you are too proud to go to a 12-step meeting, if you are too proud to let go, if you are too proud to surrender your will to God, if you are too proud to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, if you are too proud to make an amend, if you are too proud to be able to ask for forgiveness, then that is your ego. That is your lower self that wants to hold on to what is called the payoff. Now, as you begin to have a better understanding of what letting go really means, the separation between the feelings, so the feelings you have here and then up here in your upper chest, the feelings that you have and you hold on to, as you become skilled at separating your feelings from the facts and the events that shape them, from the generational trauma, from the physical trauma, from the emotional trauma, from the sexual trauma that you experienced. As you become skilled at letting go, now you're in the separation stage, and then you move into a place where it is not personal. And in a space where it's not personal, you're moving into a place called non-attachment. Detachment is indifference and anger. So detached is when you just walk away and just say, screw them. Non-attachment is when you can understand the other person's perspective, point of view, and if they're your enemy, you don't underestimate them and you understand them rather than telling yourself it doesn't make sense. If you continue to state, this doesn't make sense, that's your analytical egoic mind. That's your reptilian brain. That's the left brain that continues to process, think, analyze, and recreate the same situation to fulfill the neurochemical craving of disappointment. And in that state of unconscious consciousness, this is where your feelings get hurt. This is where you feel rejected and abandoned. In a non-attached state, you can be humble in humility and not feel rejected, not feel abandoned, not be in a place where it's personal. And as you let go of these feelings, then you are no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. And in that separation, now you're elevating yourself into higher consciousness. This book right here, as I have frayed the edges because I've read it so many times, this book right here is the only book I've ever found that even covers this term right there, non-attachment. This is the only book I have ever found that covers the term non-attachment. And as you have a better understanding of what it means that you're in the separation stage. You're in the separation stage where you're in higher consciousness. You're able to be the observer rather than the participant. So if you have a narcissistic mother, a narcissistic family, if you're an adult child of alcoholics, and you grow up in this generational trauma, your body will be in fight or flight until you start to master the skill of letting go. Whether you're 25, 35, 45, 55, if you're still in this cycle of repeat behavior where you repeat the same situation over and over, and you find yourself procrastinating and avoiding, you find yourself living in low self-esteem, you find yourself in a high level of anxiety and overwhelmed feelings, now's a good time for you to move out of denial, look into the facts and the fiction, and begin the process of letting go. Letting go is two of the most complex words that most people don't understand, yet two of the most simplest words when grasped, understood, and implemented. And as you begin to implement the skill of letting go, and you're living letting go, you virtually take letting go everywhere with you. You take it to the airport, you take it to bed at night, you take it into your business every day, because when someone cuts you off rather than going to road rage, you're able to just surrender. You feel the feeling, you feel the violation, you breathe into it, you let it go, and now you're changing the neurons that wire and fire between the brain and your gut so that you're not in a chronic state of overwhelmed fight or flight. And as you begin to no longer be that mind-body connection to the trauma you experienced, then you're not reacting. Instead of reacting, you are responding. And as a sales professional, you must understand the speed that selling requires. If you're a left-brained, analytical processor, thinker, analyzer, the profession will be challenging for you. If you're able to be present, be now, be humble, if you're able to let go easily and effortlessly, if you're able to see a situation for what it is, if you're able to move conversations to a point of commitment, if you're able to have conversations and let people go easily and effortlessly without a story and personalizing it, you have the potential to be a 6 or 7 figure income earner in a 2 to 5 year period potentially. I mean, it's the skill and the profession can reward you that much if you become skilled at it, especially if you learn how to leverage yourself through the efforts of a team that you're building, any level of team, whether that's in a real estate team, whether it's an insurance team, a network marketing, a direct sales team. You have a team of influencers, affluencers. You have affiliates who you're selling to, a multitude of situations. The leverage comes from your ability to communicate, sell, brand, market, influence, affluence, attract your reality, people and situations that will be favorable. So that is the leverage that you require to be able to create through your brilliance. So spontaneous excellence is what being in the zone is. Now, if you ever find yourself in the zone when it's effortless ease and it is flowing to you, and because you are so skilled at the power of negotiation, if you can take a conversation to a commitment in a relaxed body where you're selling from integrity, where you're selling from your higher good, where you're selling products and services of high value that people see and value, when you're selling from spirituality, when you're coming from Christ consciousness, God, when you're coming from this place of you're feeling good, you're feeling it. You're not taking advantage of people. You're not trying to backdoor them. You're not using unethical sales techniques. You are coming from high integrity, high consciousness, because you believe so much in yourself. You believe so much in who you are, what you're creating. You're coming from cause, purpose, value. You are purpose inspired so this is when you begin to emanate at a high level of consciousness. And in that high level of consciousness, You are non-attached because you know that there's the law of plenty. But if you're in scarcity, if you're in lack, poverty consciousness, if you're in jealousy, envy, if you're coming from, you feel that you're not getting a fair shake, if you're coming from confrontation, or if you're in conflict consciousness, any of these lower levels of energy, you cannot possibly sell. Because if you do, if you're a slick salesman, you will have chargebacks, you'll have refunds, and you'll have these other situations that you'll just have to keep regenerating that sale. But if you absolutely can be in your highest integrity, your highest good, and you can learn the skill of letting go, then you will attract easily and effortlessly to your reality organic, holistic clients who will find you. It's inevitable. And if you start to master the laws of the universe, as you begin to master the law of vacuum prosperity, as you begin to understand how synchronicity operates, and then in synchronicity you can move to a higher level of it called synchrodestiny, where it's like this: is this a coincidence or is this synchronicity? That's what you want to be able to understand when there are no accidents, when the parking space is available for you, when the customer calls you, when you were thinking about your grandmother and she sends you a message. I mean, this becomes the body in a relaxed state sends a telepathic message through a thought form, through a gamma brainwave state, as the body is releasing dimethyltryptamine, the highest level of chill. You're in a chill factor, and people can feel you across the ocean, they can feel you across town, they can feel you across country, they can feel you in the neighborhood, they can feel you, baby, because they feel you, and then they feel that unconscious message that you just sent that says, I'm a person of value. I have a message for you. I have a product and service that would benefit you. And then voila, the phone call happens. And see, this, when it happens, it will begin to happen all of the time because you're non-attached. When you have an attachment, you have plugged the hole in the universe. When you are angry at a customer or client, when you feel you've been taken advantage of, when you've been gaslighted and ghosted, and you use these terms, and you don't understand why people do what they do. Human beings are predictable. What you're also going to find in sales, branding, and marketing, that a large percent of the population, when you have them at the closing table, when you're at the decision table with someone and they go into their own fight or flight and you're in your own fight or flight, then you're in two mixed messages. When you're as cool as the other side of the pillow, there are occasionally times that your voice of reason will be able to bring someone back to the decision table. But it's also your responsibility to understand how many people that you communicate with are pathological liars in a form and a fashion that they will tell you what they think you want to hear. And if you're attached to this, then you will believe them. Then your feelings will get hurt when they don't show up for their appointment, or your feelings will get hurt because they lied to you. And it's your responsibility to understand this, that even people that you think have high character oftentimes will overcommit. That is called codependency. And they'll tell you what they think you want to hear. It's your responsibility not to be attached to that. By being non-attached, which is very confusing for many people, because many people confuse non-attachment with you don't care, you're cold, you're insensitive, you're indifferent, or you're detached. That is not what non-attachment is. Non-attachment means you are in so much humility with yourself that you can't be humiliated by others. In a non-attached state, you will not feel rejected by others because you become not rejectable. In a non-attached state, you have a deep feeling for the situation that's at hand. You're able to sense and see it. And you can tell that someone isn't going to deliver, come through. And in the contracting world, it's very prevalent. Many contractors, general contractors, contractors in many situations, they will have more customers than they can handle. They will tell people what they want to hear. They don't deliver. They don't show up. They live in a fight or flight scarce state. And you'll see this in many forms of contracting, whether it's home contracting or other situations going on in your circle of influence. And when you're non-attached to the outcome, you'll attract your reality more frequently outcomes that are favorable. But when you get tunnel vision on one person or one situation, and you put all your hopes and all your dreams into this one big deal and it doesn't show up, well, then you've just wasted a lot of time with the other people in business that you can create on the periphery rather than this tunnel vision on one situation. And I've seen this happen to so many people because they are attached. And as you let go of your attachment, I mean, even things like dogs, sometimes you have to give your dog up. Sometimes you have to give your apartment up. Sometimes you have to sell your house. Sometimes you leave a relationship that's not favorable, and you do it because you're doing it for your higher good. You're able to let situations go to simplify your life rather than complicate it. If you continue to live a complicated, overwhelmed life, you will continue to attract your reality people who believe what you believe. As you're able to see the situation for what it is, as you're able to let go, as you're able to let go of any attachment to the outcome, the most favorable situation that happens is that you're now in the solution. But when you are attached, you're now in the problem. So when you're attached, your mouth moves, and then then your body lets you know that you got violated. So when you're attached, your body is recreating an event to fulfill a feeling. So if you grow up in a family where your family didn't believe in you, where your family wouldn't let you go to the school you wanted to go to, where your family forced you to go into a school that you didn't want to go to, or your family forced you to be a grown-up before your time. You're 11 years old taking care of your family. You just lost your innocence. You lost your entire childhood. So if you don't understand this, you will be a compulsive debtor, gambler, especially codependent. Your relationships will be where you'll enable, over-obligate, attract people to take advantage of you. You'll attract the worst narcissist known to mankind so that you can be the hero of that relationship and do your best to unwind it. As you're unwinding it, you're completely exhausted, hitting rock bottom, letting these people traumatize you. And then you'll bounce from relationship to relationship, in business, in life, to fulfill the neurochemical craving of not being good enough because you simply don't understand trauma, codependence, and the map of consciousness. The more you begin to understand this isn't about making sense. This is a handbook for life. And it's not about figuring it out. It's accepting how this operates. And so when you're in no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings, you can move into a non-attached state in a relaxed body. And the non-attached state allows you to attract ideal candidates. So that when you're not attached, they begin to show up. It's a phenomenon is what it is. So it's a phenom. It's phenomenal. I mean, this is how this happens, is that in the non-attached state, and when you are skilled at this process of recovery, sobriety, higher consciousness, business, and when you're able to be in this non-attached state, it's challenging to articulate. I mean, I can, but it's once you've experienced it, it's like this. Then it becomes gold. You begin to understand it clearer. So when you let go of the shiny object, the pretty little pets, when you stop romancing people who you think are going to be real good, and you let go of these people you think are going to be really good at this, and see, I see people, they talk attached so frequently, and when I see salespeople and team builders, they say things to prospects like this. They'll go, "You'd be really good at this." Well, how do you know that? I mean, you don't know they'd be really good at this. That's your own seduction. I want you on my team. Well, first of all, have you asked them if they want to be on your team? Have you asked them if they see the value? Is there a value proposition? I mean, your skill in being non-attached is you're able to fact find, rapport build, and small talk in a conversation without an attachment. And when you're not attached, you can let someone go at the end of the conversation. You can pick up the next lead or the next situation and flow through the day. When you're attached, you go to the refrigerator. You go to the refrigerator, you have something sweet and sticky to drink. When you're attached, you start scrolling. When you're attached, you go to other forms of distraction, gaming, pornography, a drink, a nip in the closet, vape in the closet, a one-hit pipe. You'll throw down some Excedrin, PM. I mean, you'll throw whatever's handy. The ego wants something to take the edge off because the attachment represents the violation of rejection and abandonment. And then when you're attached, Then you go into the bottom of the map of consciousness into apathy and grief, rejection and abandonment, guilt and shame. Then the ego wants someone to blame. And if you can't find someone to blame, you'll internalize it and blame it on yourself. And this takes hours, days, weeks, months, and years sometimes to come back from. I've coached clients who've been on the street, rock bottom, been Baker acted, been on Thorazine, been in prison. I've been through many of these situations myself. I've been rock bottom, in jail, public intoxications, DUIs, hit and run accidents, leaving the scene of the crime. I'm a multiple blackout drinker. The last several years of alcoholism were all blackouts, like every single day, 7 days a week. I'd have no recollection of where I had been. And I would have dry heaves for hours. It was a very lonely, desolate place to end up at rock bottom in delirium tremors. But that's a very exaggerated situation of being attached. I was attached because I wanted someone to blame. I wanted to blame my family. I wanted to blame society. I was envious and jealous of other people who were paying the price while I wasn't. And it took me to go all the way to rock bottom on 2 different occasions to make the comeback. And I'm not the king of the comeback anymore. Comebacks are very overrated. I'd much rather be in a flow state, practicing the vacuum law of prosperity, flowing in life in a non-attached state of higher consciousness. As you begin to master your emotions, you have the ability to be in a non-attached state where you're able to flow and create that opening in the universe called the vacuum law of prosperity. That is a Bob Proctor term that he popularized in the 1900s. I had the privilege of sharing the stage with Bob on 3 different occasions back in the day. That was 2001, 2, and 3 that I shared the stage with him, and I used to listen to his content on the vacuum law of prosperity. Look it up on YouTube. He has specific videos on it. How do I become non-attached? By beginning to understand what it means. It means being able to be fully present in a situation, in a relationship, without an attachment to it. So it means you're able to communicate with someone who might not like you, and they're confronting you, and you're able to sit right in the middle of that conversation and let them know you understand their perspective, their point of view. So in this case, you learn to keep your friends close and enemies closer. You never take your enemy on head on. You always take them on the flank or on the side. Your enemy is cocky. You don't let them think that you know what you know. And see, that's a non-attached state. But if you have to be right, get in the ring, be in conflict, validate, justify, and explain your point over and over, you're just going to exhaust yourself because you're attached to the outcome. When you let go of the outcome, it's contradictory in many ways, but it must be understood. It's like you're responsible to create an outcome, but you're also responsible not to be attached to when it shows up. The outcomes will show up when you're skilled and good at your profession, what you do, and it'll also show up when you're in high consciousness more frequently because your emotional vibration and your transmutational energy is coming from a state of your gamma brainwave when you're in a very relaxed state of high consciousness. When you're transmuting at 350, 450 cycles per second, I mean, you're in chill factor. I mean, you're smooth, baby. You're as cool as the other side of the pillow. You're the ice man and ice woman, and very little affects you. You got a toothpick in your mouth and your feet up on your desk with your cowboy boots there kicked back. And and when you're non-attached, you're able to meditate in such an easy state of unconscious consciousness. And if you ever cross that bridge where you're able to meditate on command, that means because you're non-attached. You can just take breaks in the day. You can take 3 or 4 minutes without being attached that, oh my God, I'm wasting time. I could be making a phone call. No, that's an attachment. That's called force. When you're in your power, that's the true non-attached state. Because power doesn't require any outside influence or energy. Power stands alone. Power is its own power. It doesn't plug in. Force has to plug into a counterforce because it has to have an opposition. It feeds on controversy. It feeds on judgment. It feeds on being right and wrong. It's a duality. It wins and loses. It's black and white. Someone has to lose in a force counterforce situation. When you're in your power, you're in a non-attached state in high consciousness, flowing in life. I want to thank all of you for being here this afternoon on Facebook Live. And the topic is non-attachment consciousness. I'm going to hit the record button if you want to rewatch the content. Anyone that is watching this content that is not a client of mine and you'd like to speak to me for a free 20-minute coaching session, feel free to reach out to me. I would be honored to be your coach. If you're a former or existing client and you'd like to add on or rehire me to be your coach, send me a Facebook message, or you can contact me at 209-649-1562, 209-649-1562. Diane, I see you, baby. I feel you. Good to see you here this afternoon. Rachel, good to see you. Thank all of you for being here this afternoon to Non-Attached Consciousness. Danielle, good to see you. Good to see all of you. Josh, thank you for bringing your team. Aaron, thank you for being here today. Adrian, thank you. Adrian said fire content. Thank you. Valerie, good to see you. Thank you, everyone. Breathe, release, and let go in a relaxed body.